Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name's Andres and I'm the community manager at The Futur. And today we got an awesome special guest, Aurélie Marone, a super talented hand lettering artist all the way from the Gold Coast of Australia. And Aurélie is going to share some incredible insights on how participating in hand lettering challenges and using reels has impacted her business. She's a super pro at typography, and she has spoken at the Typefaces conference, taught typography at the Griffith University, and has built her own studio right from her home. And so let's get ready to take your creative skills to the next level and grow your business with Aurélie's awesome insights. And if you'd like to see the full video of her or hear from other guest speakers, consider joining the Futur Pro. You'll get access to over 600 calls with Chris and other guest speakers in the video archives. Be sure to say hi, I'll be there, and I'll see you in the future.
So hello everyone, my name is Aurélie, and today I wanted to discuss with you the impact that participating in multiple lettering challenges and using reels has had on my business. So in this little presentation that I'm going to give you, I will be sharing with you my own personal experience of how I started incorporating challenges into my business strategy and the results I have seen from doing so. So just a quick introduction before we start for those who don't know me, who have no idea who I am. Like I said, my name is Aurélie. I have a French background. I was born in New Caledonia, so that's why I have a French accent. And I like to call myself a lettering artist, and I have been freelancing full-time since 2015. And I run a successful design business that focuses on custom typography and hand lettering. We all know what happened in 2020. So basically, during COVID, I had no work coming in, so no jobs. And I was left with a lot of time in front of me. And I thought, okay, well, that's the perfect time to work on my portfolio and kind of update things. So I decided to join my very first lettering challenge, like the one you can see those slides. So this one were 36 days of type lettering challenge, as you probably heard about this one. And participating in this challenge, I actually learned a few things. And mainly I learned that quantity actually leads to quality. And I know it sounds like it's the other way around, but I think that committing to a challenge with a lot of constraints actually will promote your creativity, because you create more work and therefore you get to improve your skills. So the idea is that you have to start creating in order to find the motivation to create more. I always thought that it was the other way around and that you had to wait for the inspiration to come to you and then create, but it's actually the opposite. For years, I had been stuck creating work for others, so just client work, and I just was unable to find the time to create lettering work for myself. And of course, no one was ever going to hire me for my lettering if I wasn't posting about it, or if I wasn't working on it, or if I wasn't doing it at all. So, and also my style wasn't going to evolve. It was always going to remain the same. So as soon as I pushed myself to complete my very first challenge, like the 36 days of type challenge that you see on the slides, I really pushed myself to create more consistently. And that's when I began to improve my skills. And also, I think most importantly, my true style started to emerge way faster. And I also got a lot more eyes on my work because I was posting about it online. For anyone watching, I know that you might be thinking, okay, completing a challenge like that, it's a lot of work, it's a big commitment, and completing a challenge from start to finish to discover your style may seem like way too much work for you. And if you're running your own business, if you have your freelance side hustle or whatever it might be, it can feel extremely scary to pull put all of your important jobs on the side and just focus on personal work. And on top of that, having to post about it online, sharing it with others, that's a lot that you have to do. That's a lot on your plate. And then I know, because I've been there myself, like I'm the first one who was using this type of excuses, like I don't have time to practice my lettering, or I can't afford to not work on a client project. I can't afford to work on personal projects. I also don't have time to share my work online. And also, like, I'll update my portfolio when I have projects that I like. That was me. I know exactly how you may feel. So yeah, let's be honest. These are obviously just excuses, and some of them might resonate with you, but I actually have a solution for all of those excuses. So we're going to go over those now. So you may have heard before, I'm sure, that you need to create your own dream project in order to find your dream client. So you have to create dream projects, post them online, and then hopefully get someone to hire you for your project. Now, I wanted to share with you a little story of mine. So when I started getting into lettering challenges, creating more work for myself, I actually discovered retro sign. So it's something that I've been playing with a lot, and something I was quite drawn to. I thought that was a really fun thing to make and create. So when I started making retro sign during one of my challenges, I knew in the back of my mind that it would be the type of job I wanted to be hired for. Like, I knew I would have loved to be hired, like commissioned to do retro sign. So after doing many self-initiated projects, posting them online, I finally got commissioned to do retro signs to be published in a magazine. So obviously, if I hadn't done the work, if I hadn't spent time working on this personal project, if I didn't make the effort of posting it online, then I never would have been hired to do this retro sign in particular. So this is just an example, guys, but it goes to show that it's very simple. If you don't have any examples to show off your skills, then no one will hire you. Something I think where people struggle as well is that they're thinking that posting their work online will only bring them new clients. But I believe that that is not always the case. The great thing about a challenge like this is that it can help you create products, digital products in particular, of all sorts. So you could do a challenge and use some tools and create tools for yourself and then start selling them. So when I did my challenges, I actually used Procreate. And when I was doing those challenges, I also needed new brushes. So I created them for myself, but then I realized that people were quite interested in them. And I thought, oh, well, then that might be something that I could create and sell. So it might be anything, like it could be brushes, but it could be new drawing technique or textures, or I don't know, maybe tutorial that you create from that challenge. And the thing is, you won't know what product you want to create yet, but you will figure this out when you complete your challenge. So when you do the work, that's when you realize, oh, actually, I could create this product. I could do this and sell that. And that's only by doing the work that you will figure it out. So I think the great thing about working on a challenge is that it helps you also get feedback from your audience and help you assess what you can create and sell. Because when I was doing those challenges and posting them online, I got a lot of feedback, a lot of comments of people asking me questions. How did you do this? What brush did you use? How did you choose your colors and things like that? So that's something to think about as well when you do a challenge. So that's why I believe that creating challenges, participating in a challenge and sharing it online using Reels in particular, we're going to go over that in a minute, is so important. So I think that when you participate in a challenge, it helps you develop your skills, but it also helps you find ideas for potential products. And all at the same time, it helps you develop your own creative style, but Sharing it online using engaging reels will make it even more beneficial, as it will help you get more exposure for your work, get feedback, and potential client or customers. So I'm going to go over reels in a minute, but I think that's even better if you can post reels about your work rather than just doing still posts or just images. So at this stage, you might be wondering, but where do I start? How do I begin to share challenges online? Like, how do I even begin to do it? And I know that it might be easy to decide on what you may work on, what you may post online, but finding the right idea for a personal project, such as the lettering challenge or any type of challenge, and finding the time to do it as well, is more of a process. So it's great to have an idea that excites you right from the beginning, but if you want to do it correctly, you have to make sure that you choose the right challenge for you and that you complete it entirely as well. You don't give up halfway, and that you commit to posting about it online on a daily basis, and which is what I'm going to help you with today. So I'm going to go over some of the things that I actually teach in my course called Lettering Style Secrets. So in this course, I help people go through an entire challenge from beginning to end, and I help them, like I help my student pretty much overcome all of those steps, all of those struggles where they're thinking, oh, I don't have time, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to focus on, I don't know how to post online and things like that. So the first thing I actually recommend people to do is find their idea for their challenge. So the first thing you need to do, obviously, is decide on what challenge you want to do as well, you want to participate in. And it might be that you also make one for yourself. So it might be that you participate in a challenge that someone else is running, like 36 Days of Type, for example, that we've seen before, or that you, or maybe the one I have created, so the Lettering Style Challenge, which I created last year, or it might be that you make it yourself. So finding your style for a challenge will take time, but I believe that the sooner you start, the sooner you will discover it. That's why I always recommend my students to force themselves to commit to a challenge like that. And I just want to mention quickly that you might never fully find your style, like something I go over a lot in the course. It might be something that takes a lifetime to just work on your style. But I do believe that the sooner you start, the sooner you will be able to discover it and build something that's recognizable and that people can associate you with. So if they scroll through your feed, they can tell, oh, this is done by you. So doing a challenge will not only give you the accountability, so that's why I recommend doing it, otherwise you might not do the work, but it also increase your productivity. So instead of overthinking your work and spending 1 month on an artwork, you will only have to create one artwork per day. And because you have to commit, there's no other choice, it's non-negotiable. You usually get to do it way more than if you were just trying to produce work on your own. And for most people, I know that creating a new artwork for 30 days in a row, like, it doesn't have to be 30 days straight and posting it daily. So I just wanted to quickly mention that the challenge can be your own and you can create your own deadlines. So you can decide, okay, I just want to create one artwork per week for the next 10 weeks. And then that's 10 projects that you've assigned to yourself. So as long as you commit to doing the work within your own terms and challenge yourself to make something you wouldn't, when you would normally wouldn't, that's what's important. So on this slide here, you can see that's my mood board that I created for my past challenge that I created, organized, and participated in as well. So I wanted to quickly go over one of the first steps to finding an idea for your challenge. And that would be to start noticing what your interests are and creating some type of mood board, some type of collection of things that interest you and that you like. So the first step of the process in finding your artistic style is simply to figure out what you want your art or your work to look like. And yes, I know it sounds very simple, but the very first step to finding your style is to actually figure out what style you like and would like to create. In a similar way, you want to find what interests you the most. So to begin finding your creative style, you need to clearly define what your current interests are. And it's just as simple as that. So if you want your personality and your vision running through your work, you want to be clear on what your favorite things are. And an artist's style evolves naturally while searching and exploring various possibilities of design. So an artist is actually the sum of his or her own interest, experience, knowledge, and feelings. So all of those kind of assembled together. And I think that's when you're really aware of your own personal interests, and that you consciously experiment with different styles that you like and that you're attracted to. That's when you can begin to develop your own recognizable style. So that's, again, something we go over in my course into way more details. I get everyone to create a mood board and figure out what style they are actually attracted to. And then I get people to choose some restrictions and give themselves restrictions. So I get it. Starting a new challenge like this can feel completely overwhelming because the idea of endless possibilities can leave you feeling completely stuck. So sometimes when you have too many options, that's when you have like no options at all and you don't know what to do. I wanted to share this quote with you guys, which is from Austin Kleon. You might know him. He wrote the book called Still Like an Artist, which I really love. And he says, nothing is more paralyzing than the idea of limitless possibilities. The idea that you can do anything is absolutely terrifying. So the way to get over a creative block is simply to place some constraints on yourself. If the idea of completing a challenge completely scares you, then that you have too many options, actually, then giving yourself restrictions right from the beginning should help you overcome that. So giving yourself constraint right from the start will help you get started and stay focused. So I know it seems completely contradictory, feels like it's the opposite way, but really limitation equals freedom. So you can give yourself restriction, for example, on the style you choose to create, or on the theme or the subject matter that you choose. And I wanted to share with you this example of another challenge that I did last year where I gave myself restriction. And I personally love to give myself very specific restriction for the theme of my challenge for two reasons. So first, it helps me save time on the decision-making process. So I don't have to think every day, okay, what am I going to do today? And second, it creates more interest as well for people following my work. So when they follow the challenge day by day, and I have a cohesive theme going on, then people will be excited to see what comes next. So having a solid and consistent theme throughout your challenge is not like necessary always, of course, but it can be a very good way to simplify your process, but also to gather more interest around your work. So now let's go over the good part, how to get noticed, how to build an audience, how to share your work online. I get that question a lot, like how do I make my reels? How do I share my work online? Where do I begin to share my work process online? So that's what I wanted to share with you today. So I believe that there's no better way to kickstart your quest to finding your style than by regularly making work and sharing it with an audience. It's way better to share it with someone rather than like keeping it for yourself in the drawer and nobody ever sees it. So I think it's very important to share your work online. And I know that one of the hardest things about doing a daily project of course, first of all, is knowing what to do in the first place, but also presenting it nicely. And I think it's just as important as the actual work, the way you present it. So I think it might be what holds a lot of people back from getting started, and, for example, getting started with an online account and sharing their work online. And just wanted to mention quickly, we all know that social media is a no-brainer. Like, you have to post your work on social media, but why use Reel specifically? Like, why Reels and not a still image? Well, we all know that short videos are a proven and highly addictive formula to attract and engage users. So short videos such as the Reels and are extremely addictive because of they offer instant gratification. So viewers, they get to see an entire process unfold in just 30 seconds or less sometimes, which really keeps them engaged and wanting more. So according to a recent Facebook study, actually, people only spend an average of 1.7 seconds, so not even 2 seconds, on a piece of content before they choose to scroll to the next piece of content or not. So this means that, of course, we all know you only have a couple of seconds to grab your viewers' attention before it's too late. So that's something I go over as well in the course. I talk about how to make sure the first few seconds are a nice hook that people cannot stop watching. So when editing your video, you always want to make sure that the very first seconds are the most interesting so that your viewer will keep on watching. So I wanted to quickly mention that learning how to get the attention of your audience and how to keep their attention as well using Reels with your video is quite important, because you want to understand why people are watching as well. So I think it's very important to understand the psychological reason behind every behavior, because every human behavior doesn't change as fast as trends do. And over time, we all know that trends, anything like a trend on TikTok or Reels, whatever, they become familiar and they change very quickly, and people kind of lose their interest in trend. Whereas when you create content that follows the psychology of human behavior, when you create content that inspires, that connects, that's when you make content go viral. So I just wanted to give you this quick tip. So next time you're watching a reel, next time you're scrolling on Instagram or TikTok, I want you to just take a moment to really identify the reason why you're watching the reel and why you didn't scroll past. So I think if you want to create reels that work and that really engage with your audience, it's very important to not consume reels like a normal person. You have to look at it from different perspective and really try to understand why you kept on watching, and try and understand your behavior, your human behavior, or the psychology behind why you kept on watching. And then that's something that you can re-implement within your reels.